Today I'm going to build a automation where we pull Instagram stories automatically from our own Instagram profile, and then these can automatically be merged together to create a long form piece of video content, which will then be automatically published on YouTube as well. So by it just creates a much more seamless recording process if I can record short stories from anywhere, and then we um, merge them all together into one video file and upload them. We're also, someone mentioned to me the other day, Banner Bear, and I want to have a little play around with their API. So I'm going to plug that in to actually generate custom thumbnails, dynamic thumbnails automatically using their API. So it's going to be the first time I've played around with it. So yeah, let's see what it can do. Let's go ahead and jump straight into Integromat. And I'm using two different APIs I've just added in and set up just to speed up the course of this video. The first one we're using is Instagram Stories by a service called Rapid API, and the only thing I've done is added in my Instagram user ID. And this just, all it will do is, I've run it once here for an example. 1 second. Yeah, it will pull all of the stories that we have up, and it will give us the URL. Download links, yeah. How many have we got? We've got quite a few. Okay. So let's get started by, we're going to want to grab the file, and I think we're actually going to need an iterator to go through each one of the files that's returned to us. So let's go ahead and add that in. URL. The only other thing is that we ideally need some type of structure about when the video was taken, because the other way that I'm thinking to use this is to republish content onto TikTok and YouTube Shorts, as well as Instagram Reels actually, but we can build that in later. And then I keep things very simple. In fact, I don't mind the platform, but it's really well integrated into Integromat. So we can use Dropbox. And the first thing I want to do is actually create a folder. Okay, I'm going to make a little bit of logic here just to make sure that we correctly split each day. So I'm going to add, what's going to be the best way to do this? I'm going to make a little Airtable structure quickly for us to have as a back end. Just an easy way to manage this. So let's go ahead and make a new. And this also means that we can have a centralized way of storing all of the stories that we ever make in case we want to use them in future. So it's not a bad idea. And then I'm just thinking, what's going to be the best way to group them by day? That will do for now. Let's add module Airtable. And so let's add a second table. This can be the days, and this can be the actual stories that we download. Days will make a relation to the stories database. So this will actually be like a really interesting way for us to mass produce or mass release content, I should say. And I've been exploring a few other doing? Another dashboard stories. Allow link. Yes. Done. Okay. So difference to us. Okay, so let's come back over. And every time this scenario runs, what we want to do is create a new day in the day field, and all of the stories that we retrieve from the Instagram will automatically be linked to that. So I'll give that a name. YouTube story pipeline. Okay. So I think we can also just format the date. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Okay, so we'll format the date because we don't need the exact time, and it's just going to overcomplicate things a little bit. Yeah, okay, that looks good. Get a file. Airtable, create a record, and so we'll link them all correctly into our main database there. It's going to clone that, it'll be easier. So I just need to think what Airtable will only download from a URL. We're going to have to do it in a slightly different order actually. The day we can link up. So let's go ahead and do so yeah, that has worked correctly. So just to walk you through the automation, this is going to grab the Instagram stories. Over here, we're going to create a new day in Airtable. I want each video linked into a specific day. It just will make it much easier to manage and work with in future if we want to republish the content elsewhere. Iterator is going to go through every single story that we post, and it's going to upload them in Airtable. And then this is like a little video merger that we made that will merge all MP4 files together. So let's run it once and just double check that this is working. First off, it should create a day here, and then it should download all of our Instagram stories and link them here. And yeah, it looks like it's working well. Good. Just check that it's downloaded correctly. Yeah, we have audio as well. Great. So next step is going to be, we need to get them up onto this server, and we want to sort of do get a file. Get a file. So for each file, we can pull them out, and then do SFTP. Create a folder. I think this is the folder structure I had. that will work. And in fact, we only need to run create folder /. In fact, I want to bring that back down here. And then we want to start uploading the files from this point. /name, and then we want to do total number of bundles, bundle order position equal to total number of bundles. In fact, that works the same both ways. So that means it will only process once all of the videos have been uploaded. Let's just delete that old data, and I just want to give this a little run once, and let's check what happens. Let's see if it works. Okay, that's worked. I think it might be because of the format of this folder. Perhaps instead we should try with record ID. And then also there, if we try with record ID, in fact, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think because it's a date format that the server can't accept it as a can't accept that file type, but I could be wrong. Sorry, that the type of that name. Unexpected internal error. Videos. Now it's working. Interesting. So this is now uploading all of our videos on the SFTP server, and that folder on the SFTP server is then used to merge all of the videos correctly. There's going to be a few things that we have to check though. The first one is, does it merge them together in the correct order? And that's going to be quite an interesting problem to solve if it doesn't. No such. That's why. That's why. Let's run that again. Video. Okay, interesting. So we need to add in a filter to don't merge, to don't upload any videos. Sorry, any pictures, basically. Type. So we need to make sure that the video type, I think the best way to do this is check that it ends in MP4. Or just check that media type is 2. It's going to be an even easier way. Media type equal to 2. That's one thing that we did incorrectly. Let's put the ID in there. We need to pull that. Let's check if this works. No. Send a folder that contains more than one MP4. Interesting. Perhaps because it's given them all the same file name. Could be one reason. Let's try again. Send a folder that contains more than one. That's completely my fault. Okay, let's run it manually, but I forgot to change it back to the variable. Videos are now merging. Let's see what the output is. In fact, just while we're sitting here, why don't we make an account with Bannerbear and let's have a little play around with their API. And Bannerbear is what we will use to make custom YouTube thumbnails. So let's make a little template. Apparently they, I think because of their image, they're keeping it in proportions. Why don't we check if Figma has any good templates? Yeah, never mind. The size of this we can increase a bit. Alright, save template. Here we've got it's just finished merging. Quite a large file actually. I imagine that's where they give the output to. Oh, they generate that dynamically. Interesting. Message. Entrepreneur daily vlog. Webhook. We need to generate a webhook. Okay, we need to add in a second. Need to make a second scenario, I think, to actually get the response. Okay, all right, let's see what that comes back with. This should now have downloaded. We can open and see what the result of our video merge is.
Good morning, guys. Just finished.
Everything seems to be in the correct order, which is great news. Yeah, good. So merge request. Then what we want to do is we want to add a sleep timer here because it will time out after 5 minutes. But generally it will take longer than 5 minutes to merge the videos together. Sorry, it's 300, isn't it? Not 500. Okay. And then what we can do is we'll add in a module SFTP, list of folders content, come back in here, show, and we want to list everything in the uploads directory. Got MP4. Sort by last modified date, sort order descending. Maximum number of results returned. Files. So this should then return us the file that is listed there, which it has done, which is also great news. Add module, and then under day, maybe we can make a new field to add in the fully merged video. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Merged video, and the final URL is going to be this. Yeah, and then we can trigger banner bear, and I'm just going to make a second scenario because I think that they're going to ping us when it successfully creates the thumbnail. Webhooks, custom webhook. Custom webhooks banner bear. Let's take that, add in here. So yeah, this is going to give us 15 minutes of merge time, and we can always add in more. And the only reason that I don't want to download it, the largest file size Integromat can handle, I think is like 80 megabytes. And I think that this video merging will go over it. So we need to make sure that we don't actually host the file at any point on Integromat itself, except for when we're downloading the individual stories. Otherwise, the application will crash. Okay, anyway, that would have worked. I don't really want to wait 15 minutes again for that to go through, but we've got the video there. and I can just run this manually just to make sure that they will pull our video correctly. Yeah, okay, let me. And this is like a really interesting feature actually that I'm often talking about slapdash. This, I think, is a really underrated feature where we can just copy again anything that was in our clipboard history. So I can now run that. That has gone through correctly and it should be downloading our full length video. Again, let's just double check. Whenever like you're passing data through things, particularly video, you just want to make sure it's gone. Yeah, we've got audio and it seems to be the full length, and we've made like a lot of modifications to this video file. So, but yeah, seems to have come through correctly. Now let's trigger this banner bear testing. See how long it takes to make a run that again. Testing. URL. Yeah, okay, so it's really quite fast. And it makes a nice little custom video for us. Sorry, custom text. Cool. Let's use that, and we can use this actually as a trigger to know when our video is done. Let's go ahead and delete all these old ones, and we can just make it a very like simple view of created time is today. And it means that we can just pull the most recent. In fact, I'll get a record. Search records, and then we'll just search in this view, and that's how we'll pull like the final video file. Or in fact, we could actually pass, maybe a cleaner way to do this is to pass it through as metadata in banner bear. And in fact, let's just go ahead and do that. We'll use the old one that we were using, and let's just make hope that information's passed through. There we go, metadata, they have given it to us. Makes life much easier. There we go. And then we can go and let's attach the thumbnail there as well. Attachment, thumbnail. The thing to do now will be to invest a little bit more time in making a better thumbnail, and take a PNG image. Doesn't really matter to me. Nice. Okay, then finally we want to, let's go and trigger, let's do Zapier. The only reason to do Zapier is that the YouTube YouTube doesn't work on Integromat. They're waiting to get their license approved, so I think the fastest way will be through Zapier. One other way I've just thought we might be able to do this is to there's a little tool called Pipedream which we may be able to use to trigger on YouTube, do webhook request. 5 terabytes, okay. So for working with data, this is going to be a much better better option. Upload a video. Cool. All right, let's try this. URL equals thumbnail equal to that has gone through. Yeah, good. So file URL. This. They've got no way to add a thumbnail. Public. And we can add some video tags. I think we can actually update the thumbnail after, might be a better way of doing it. Save, let's deploy. Let's just make sure that that it shows and the audio's come through and everything. This is like a really hacking together a solution. But yeah, it's quite interesting problem to solve. And I often forget about Pipedream as well. It's not a tool that I use very often, but it's much cheaper than Integromat, and it's quite good. It's really growing quite. The tools that they have are really quite good, and it's very flexible as well. You can run your own Node.js code on there as well. Yeah, the only problem for me is like the UX is just nowhere near as good as Integromat. And when you spend most of your life sitting on one of these platforms, like you don't want to be working on a tool that is annoying to work with. Like UX plays a massive part, and yet it's so overlooked on a lot of things. It's uploaded. I'm very happy with that. So yeah, we can now. I'm just going to run through the scenario again one last time. Yeah, let's go through the scenario. So first step is grab Instagram stories that are currently active on the phone, create a new day in Airtable, create a folder for that specific day, upload all of the stories into Airtable, download each individual Instagram story, and then upload them to be ready to be merged. This will then merge the files together. It's got a 5-minute timeout, which is why we have to add in these 2-second parts just to allow up to 15 minutes for it to merge the videos together. And it's going to depend on how big the files are that you are uploading. Perhaps you need to add in more, perhaps you need to add in less. When we tried it the first time, it timed out when it was merging 17 different files together. Then it's just going to check for the output file from here, and then it's going to upload into Airtable the output file, and it will start generating the thumbnail. After the thumbnail is finished generating, it's going to trigger a webhook, and we're going to get the record. Sorry, someone's at the door. Get the day, update it with the new thumbnail, which you can see is available here. And then we're going to make a request to Pipedream to upload the video for us. And then one final touch that we can do, just because I said I was going to do it, we can probably use Zapier to no, we can't. We can use, let me try and set this up. Upload a video. No, we want to do maybe update a video. Upload a thumbnail is exactly what we want. Yeah, okay, let's see if we can do this. Let's copy this module. Upload a thumbnail, connect automatically. That looks like it is going to work. So another thing to do would then be YouTube, get a channel maybe, channel ID. Let's copy that. I'm gonna have to get my own channel, or does Pipedream return us a video ID? That would be useful to know. Yes, they do. So okay, let's go ahead and do. Okay, we're gonna have to add in another scenario. It's all getting a little bit messy. Get request URL. Pipedream new video published. Save. That. And record ID equals to never mind, we will find it ourselves. I'm just going to pull the video ID from here. To grab the file, Airtable search records. There's so many parts involved in it now. Airtable search records, story pipeline, one, and we're just going to use this view, created time is today, and we'll use that from here. And then copy that module, paste module, video ID we are taking from here, and we actually need to get the file. Okay. HTTP get a file. and that should successfully upload the thumbnail. That is running. Just to give myself like the data format just for future runs, I'm just going to ping this endpoint myself. On this module. Testing, ping that over. Luckily we tested that. And again, accepted. There we go. Ping that one more time. There we go. Search records. Yeah, okay, so now we just need to add that final piece of information into video ID. And that will tell us that it is working correctly. So we can activate this. We can also activate this. And the final one is here. And we can remove these last parts, make a request to Pipedream. The one thing that I do need to make, stop that, and we want to run once every day at let's run at like 250. In fact, let's run at 2:42. So that's coming to the end of like UK time, end of the day, and it will trigger in time for my by the end of the day my time. I will have posted all the stories for the day. Then it will go ahead and merge them, and it will post them on YouTube for me. So if I have built this successfully, you will see a video posted at the end of today with a custom thumbnail, with all the Instagram stories that I have merged together into one YouTube video. Yeah, this was actually quite interesting to build. Not quite as seamless as I planned, because we've got 4 different scenarios communicating with each other, but interesting to build nonetheless. Yeah, any questions, as always, leave a comment.